fast draft. They like to take time away from their opponent. The healers split like usual.
And no surprise to see Lance coming off the board. TSM puts tons of priority on it, and they love Lyra as well. Cloud9 picking up the Finn. I do like this in terms of what they're able to accomplish with Lost Boy on this hero. It's one of his favorites.
All right, wow, so they get the Arden again. This is their top pick so far in the tournament. Probably going to be Vainglory on the Sky.
Definitely agree. So that was one of the heroes that he was really famous for way back there. And it's been a while since we've last seen him, but he's got the plays. Watch out for his positioning in this matchup. And
we don't see in 121, the update we're running this tournament on, we don't see quite as much lane Lyra, but likely to see it now. Best Chuck NA, how can he make that work? Taka, Adagio, Finn on the other side. This is going to be an opportunity for Lost Boy Top to make some plays, go fishing, get some hooks with the call of match one and the best.
SoloMid, they've had the upper hand in this matchup. As you go back through recent memory, Cloud9, very similar situation back when they were Nemesis in the previous season. They were dropped down to that loser's bracket by Team SoloMid and then came back and eliminated Team SoloMid, looking to have a repeat performance.
Yeah, but if you go back to the spring, I mean, it was Vainglory actually that did a lot of the heavy lifting. This time, he's on Team SoloMid, so that big threat has actually been taken out, and as he said, and as you saw, Team SoloMid has actually come together very nicely as a team. The whole Vainglory mentality is almost like their motto these days, you know, no fear, just fight.
Absolutely, that has been just a mantra that goes around the Team SoloMid camp, and right now I Love Joseph, he's going to be looking for an opportunity perhaps, but they do decide to just back off, pull down Hardek for the safe rotation, the safe farming, and the safe trip to the shop, but now it looks like they may be looking to find a fight.
Yeah, Hardek, you see, he already has those boots, and I Love Joseph looking to get some of that scouting done as well, but they've split the damage between Vainglory and Flash, and there's not really a lot of big targets available here. TSM's kind of weaving in and out, so Cloud9 is not going to find that three-man rotation into a kill, but for now they should just be able to bounce back to their jungle and continue farming.
Yeah, the one thing that does ensure, though, is that there won't be necessarily immediate aggression from Team SoloMid, but Team SoloMid, they're rotating on through, and they found Cloud9.
Yeah, there's that aggression, and the Quibble comes down. You can't eat those this early on, especially without any kind of shield, and, well, that's just going to signal the end of that one. But TSM, you know, they've clashed now twice. Cloud9, I think, coming out a little bit worse for wear when it comes down to it. Lyra and her book do wonders for the early game.
Yeah, able to provide so much healing. I Love Joseph, though, going for the aggressive play in the jungle, trying to steal away this Treant. Flash X is aware of this, just waiting for Vainglory to get in position, but I Love Joseph takes the farm, and now they're looking for the fight.
Yeah, and the Quibble comes down again, but it's not quite enough to bring down Flash. Vainglory is going to take some licks there as well, but Joseph had a big health advantage over that one, and he's pretty slippery here as well. Double armor for Joseph on top of it. They know Vainglory is going into this weapon, and Flash this early on really only has those auto attacks to deal with, so Joseph not even close to going down.
Yeah, you see the double health items being purchased there by Flash X. That's for the scaling on the Vanguard shield. Provides a larger shield for his allies, and that's, you know, they're worried about this jungle matchup.
All right, so curious thing here, Bacon. We've seen a lot of this, quote, new Taka build, this Tension Bow into Stormcrown, and we've seen it, you know, with Pawn, we've seen it with Gabe Vizzle, and, well, I'm betting that we're going to see it here with I Love Joseph. Could Vainglory actually do the same thing on Sky?
The opportunity is there. I don't know if I would be...
It's weird to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see it. But it is a possibility. It's something that we'll have to keep our eyes on for the next, you know, minute or two, as that will be the timings that they're going to want to get those tension bows out, if they are going for the tension bow builds at all, because they both have essentially the identical inventories. Literally the only difference is a potion extra that I Love Joseph has.
Well, Vainglory, the more traditional build will be something closer to a breaking point first, but we'll keep an eye on that there as well. Vainglory is known to kind of, you know, do some weird and crazy things every now and then. So for now, Cloud9 putting up some three-man pressure in lane. The last hits are going back and forth, 25 to 32, with Hardek actually ahead for a change.
Yeah, well, Vainglory, he's going to be taking a good amount of damage thanks to I Love Joseph. Even with that double armor, he's still able to dish out a lot. And, you know, we mentioned how the build similarities between Vainglory and I Love Joseph. How about between Hardek and Best Chuck NA? Both going to have very similar build paths on these heroes.
Top's got to be careful. Vainglory's going to get right up under him. Dodges out the Quibble, gets the first blood for his trouble. And Joseph not really able to return that damage around. And now Flash, he's just going to be trying to keep tabs on Joseph as he's looking to do an invade.
Yeah, FlashX has put down a couple of scout traps defensively early on in this game, and that was allowed him to just follow Joseph. Joseph was trying to juke them out with the Kaku, but he does get the farm, he gets the Treant, and now he's going to be continuously spotted though. Vainglory finding him, it's a 2-on-1 situation, but I Love Joseph, you can't count him out.
3 seconds till Kaku, and he's still actually getting some pretty good damage in, but he's going to have to try to dodge out of this very, very nice dodge by the end of it. The double juke back, but do Vainglory know? Did they say it? They found him.
Yeah, they actually knew he was over here, but he almost gets a kill on the Vainglory. They actually knew he was over there because of that vision that FlashX had put down, because he didn't show up on those scout traps. There's only one other spot he could have gone without being spotted by those scout traps. So it's not only do the scout traps provide you vision of where your opponent is, let you know where your opponent is not as well.
Uh-oh, Hardek perhaps a little bit too greedy. He got some damage on top of Vainglory, but it's not enough fire to burn him down yet. Now he's going to be taking about half his health for his trouble. But during all that, you know, the 3-man collapsing on top of Joseph, LostBoyTough and Hardek really punished that turret. It's down under half now, Bacon.
That's some good damage being dealt there. It was quite a bit of time that I Love Joseph kept the entirety of Team SoloMid occupied. One thing I do want to look at though on those items, we talked about the possibility of both players going for the tension bow, but it turns out neither of them will be doing so.
All right, guys, toy with my heart more. Joseph, though, yesterday was really the only one. Okay, there's 2 players that actually did the standard instead of like this new tension bow kind of fun stuff. But you know, the standard still works. Going to the sword blades, the breaking points, the bone saws, you know, more traditional items. But it's a little bit early still to see either of those coming out. But we do have some alternating currents for both their laners.
Yeah, both laners going to be getting that first tier 3 item completed. LostBoyTough also has the Fountain Renewal. FlashX just grabbed his, so a lot of parity between these 2 teams.
Yeah, when they're at the highest of levels, I mean, they've hit each other so many times in brackets, and now Vainglory in this lane, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Look at that level 6 going in. Joseph is going to be happy about that. Does go down for his trouble. You saw that fountain come out just a little bit too late there from LostBoyTough, but turret shots and Best Chuck doing work. Now they're turning on top of Hardek there as well. Going to give that one up. Maybe go for top, but it's just not worth it.
Yeah, there's too much health to try and burn through on that Finn, so just gonna take the 1-for-1 trade. Team SoloMid does have the 3-to-1 kill advantage, but they are behind on gold by about 300 to 400 thanks to the efforts of I Love Joseph in the jungle and the fact that Best Chuck and A has had to rotate so much to deal with this stock in the jungle that Hardek's been able to build up a little bit of a lead in the lane.
So the surprise factor aside, Team SoloMid is actually still up 3-1 for the kills. When it comes to the gold, though, they are starting to slip a little bit farther behind when it comes to the last hits. There's a big shock factor with I Love Joseph, that X-Retsu coming in. They did not expect it.
Yeah, absolutely not, but Best Chuck and A and Hardek going to be trading damage really well back and forth in the lane. I Love Joseph is hanging around, but LostBoyTough, he's eaten quite a bit thanks to that forward barrage. It's going to be okay, though. It's still a Finn with the fountain. I mean, it doesn't have to use the fountain, but it still provides enough life passive regen that he's not going to be too worried.
Yeah, it's going to kick in, and he's just going to motor on back to 100%. And, well, Flash, he's got that gauntlet online. We got the portals, Vainglory, and the deaths from above. Everybody's now come up into their ultimates, and Joseph, he has that sword blade ready to go. We actually beat out Vainglory to it, but if we don't have an opportunity to make use of that window, it's again just going to be kind of that parity you're talking about.
It's a very small window because Vainglory has 5 gold shy, has enough for it now. So once Vainglory is able to get to the shop, they are going to be even. This is their chance.
Yeah, if they don't let him do it, then they are going to have a little bit more of a punch. But there's no hook to come out. Lost Boy, even with those flares, not confident enough to throw him out, or it's just not worth it. Neither way, they got to get back to this lane. It is pushing in, and Hardek can't really afford to fall too far behind when it comes to last hits.
Yeah, Hardek actually has the lead on the last hits currently as we get a nice shot of those 2 members walking out of their base. But it's just FlashX going to be holding those minions away from the turret so that Best Chuck NA does not lose out any additional farm because he is still falling a little bit further behind. It's been pretty steadily increasing the CS lead that Hardek has been able to gain.
And again, you know, not actually used to kind of seeing this. I mean, this whole tournament, Hardek has sort of been that big priority target. Multiple deaths have led him into behind situations. And back in the Evo 8, that's when they bounced back. You know, 14, 15 minutes in, they just win a team fight and boom. The rest of the game is just history. It doesn't matter that Hardek was 0-6. But now they have a really good early lead. Ish. We'll have to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, well, that's a big gauntlet going down. Hardek just walks out of it with that reflex block, and they are going to be trying to find this fight onto I Love Joseph, but he backs out safely. A big burst does a lot of damage to Best Chuck. Now he's the one who has to be careful. A big hook.
Hook into the quibble as well. That's going to be it for Von C. Flash is going to have a lot of trouble surviving through this one. One more hit doesn't quite have it here from Hardek. I Love Joseph. If he goes diving, he's going to be looking for a trade because he's not going to live through a turret, but that turret's not even a problem anymore.
Yeah, well, still has to be careful with those runes getting thrown out by Lyra, almost taking down I Love Joseph, but he's going to go ahead and grab this treant and be able to heal up. A great play from Cloud9. Not only did they get the kill, they got the turret, and that now bumps them up over 1,000 gold in the lead.
Yep, treant on top of that as well. It's going to take away a bit here from Von C. And, well, Best Chuck, now it's going to be a little bit harder to be pushing out in that lane. You know, coming to this 50-50 mark, he has nothing to retreat to, and you're going to have I Love Joseph trailing you off. If you get hit by that anchor, then it's even just a worse situation. And Hardek, we've seen the stutter step. I mean, he can manage that with Adagio.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very close game, I think, all throughout. Best Chuck and A actually gets that second item power spike before Hardek is able to.
Yeah, he's going to go get it now.
Fairly surprising, but it's also because Best Chuck and A did not get the reflex block, and that was a very key factor in that last fight. Hardek had that reflex block, was able to walk out of the gauntlet and not be stuck in the range of Von C on that Sky.
Yeah, that was definitely a good catch from Flash X with that gauntlet, but the reflex block early on, defeating it very nicely, as you did say. Lost Boy goes into the treads first. Now, you can see Flash, he's still on the tier 1 boots, but he went into the Crucible, and the Crucible is going to be a little bit more high demand. Anytime there's a Finn, it's always that rush for the Crucible to try to defeat that hook, but Lost Boy has the engage, man.
Those 2 scout traps have been there since the beginning of the game for Team SoloMid. One of them does get popped finally, but
still lasted 10 minutes.
That's a very long time, and it got so much vision of these invades and allowed Team SoloMid to then alter where they were going to be moving based on that information. Yeah,
look at Flash X and Von C right there. Say, all right, we know where they are. If they're going to come up, forward barrage to the face. We got a gauntlet ready to go. Best Chuck was in the back with the artillery, and well, it looks like Cloud9 wants to try to make something here. There's the hook, but the Crucible says no.
Yeah, the Crucible is completed for Flash X, means they are going to have the ability to block out those forced accords. A lot of damage onto Hardek, even more still going through, but they are getting to the safety of this turret. Should be able to defend this one off.
Yeah, and we're not going to have a hook for 45 seconds as well, so that's a big trump card lost from Cloud9. The siege will set in as Team SoloMid. They can easily clean up these creeps and now start chipping away, but Joseph, they found Von C perhaps.
Yeah, Von C taking a lot off of that jump in and just having to throw down Death from above just to try and dissuade any further aggression. But it looks like Cloud9, they still want to go in on this. Von C is going to be safe on the backside as I Love Joseph finds, but there's the gauntlet. Is it going to be enough? I Love Joseph is going to fall.
Yeah, even with that fountain ticking, Hardek, he's out of energy. He's not going to be able to do too much else in this fight. Cloud9 a bit too far forward and a bit too greedy. Nice triple quibble, but it's not enough. Lost Boy Toph will drop, and that completes the ace here at the 12 minute.
And with 12.5 minutes, the gold mine hasn't been touched at all, so this is going to be a full gold payout. But if you get another look at this fight, you can see Von C takes so much damage immediately off the bat, but that Death from above forces Cloud9 to have to back away from it. Now, as they go forward for this chase, it's just a little bit too aggressive from I Love Joseph. He's nowhere close to the rest of his team as he goes in. Forces him to have to back out, and then all of a sudden he's in on his own inside the gauntlet. Hardek, like you mentioned, no energy. It means he's not going to be anywhere near as effective, and that's a pretty easy cleanup for Team SoloMid.
Yeah, it felt a little sloppy. Mismanagement of the cooldowns, mismanagement of their energy, and, well, all of a sudden Team SoloMid, 6-2, take their return turret as well, and that puts them in the gold lead about 1,000.
And that will keep them in a good position here. Hardek, again, eating a lot of damage, but there goes I Love Joseph jumping into the backlines, not finding a lot of damage. A big hook, though, but nothing really to follow it up with.
Flash actually blocks out the quibble. Von sees the target, 616 with the verse, and Hardek coming down low, but still not killing out Von C. He's even going to live through with the Suri strike. The positioning's good, and Lost Boy is looking lost, my friend. That's the back-to-back ace for TSM as they get that sneak up, and they get the kills.
Yeah, the healing is just too effective coming out of Lyra. The barrier from Flash X and the additional healing from Flash X as well with that Fountain of Renewal, just unable to take down Von C. And that's really the key to this. If I Love Joseph gets that kill onto Von C, this fight is completely different, but because he's able to stick around, has those breaking point stacks building up the entire time, has that infusion also adding to both his damage and his defenses, Vonsi's able to continuously output damage during these fights.
Sorrow Blade and the breaking point with an infusion. There was just not really too much that Cloud9 could have done about that one. You can see Hardik, you know, the tier 2 armor. Same here with Joseph, but there's no Atlas Pauldron here yet. Lost Boy did actually prioritize out those treads, remember, but the treads are not going to be that useful when you're the one getting jumped.
Yeah, and I mean, they want to be the ones making the aggressive move. That's what getting those early war treads says to me, is that they're going to be looking to make these plays to try and go aggressive to chase down Team SoloMid after that initial engagement. But like you said, Team SoloMid, they've been perfectly fine saying, okay, you want to engage on us, we're just going to fight right here. And it almost negates the war treads being built.
Another gold mine to go through. Never mind, Kraken just says, I'm now here, this is my spot. Thanks for clearing it for me. But at the same time, you know, Cloud9 are facing themselves into a little bit of a daunting situation. TSM's not going to engage. They got the stun on top of Joseph. They're keeping them there separated from Lost Boy. You don't want to get separated from your Finn. You want to kind of just everyone get together, use that fortified health. But before the fight even like get started for Cloud9, Lost Boy top is down low. Joseph is still taking the heat. And Hardik with that burst does not really seem to turn this tide at all. It's another ace going through.
Keep your eyes, I hope we get a replay of this one, keep your eyes on I Love Joseph if we do, because he's outside of the gauntlet.
Yeah.
He gets stunned, moves away, and is still just gets melted down. This death from above, I'm assuming that's what caught him there. I think it just took out so much of his health while not even involved in the fight. He finally jumps in when he's on like 1/8 of his hit points.
Yeah, and you know, Hardik with that burst, he wasn't able to stack up really with the broken myth. He had to blow it out early. And again, Toph, you know, getting singled out like that, you want to be with the Finn. The fortifying health is great. The Quibbles to set up for more skill shots. But, you know, that was just big credit to FlashX. The gauntlet was really what set that up. And he's feeling so confident that they are now this far ahead, now with the Kraken, that he has a Shiver Steal on top of this. So you're not going anywhere.
FlashX's gauntlets this entire weekend have been absolutely phenomenal. I was actually talking to a few of the pros before this championship started of, you know, why isn't Arden played anywhere near as frequently? Because I feel like he was still really strong, and a lot of players were saying, well, a lot of it is because his gauntlet is just kind of overshadowed by other abilities now. It's not as impactful as a lot of other roamers' abilities are. But when you land it, like FlashX has been doing, that's that impact that, you know, is why people haven't been playing him. So it's really just, if you can land those gauntlets, he's just as good, and that's what we've been seeing here. They're going in, no gauntlet, there it is, gonna get the stun onto Hardik.
Yeah, but Vonsi's already down. Lost Boy top there, the front line, the double quibble to follow that one up. Here goes the verse, and Flash is the only one to actually get caught, but Joseph, he keeps taking the hits. The curveballs are strong, and Chuck does get that return kill, but the longer that they're out here, even if TSM gets aced right here, the longer that Cloud9 is not defending their base, there's a Kraken ravaging it.
Yeah, Kraken is doing some serious work onto the base, and now they're going to try recalling, but FlashX says, hey, I can just keep you here a little bit longer. I have no problems with that. Kraken has already destroyed one turret. It's going to get a second one, and now FlashX is just going to try and be a nuisance, perhaps, see if he can get them distracted off of this Kraken, and that's exactly what he's looking to do. But now with I Love Joseph here, they should be able to stop this Kraken in time, so they will stay alive on the side of Cloud9, but their base is in shambles.
The margins of error are down to 0 here, Bacon. One more bad engage for Cloud9, and they got nothing left in the bank. There is just going to be an exposed crystal, and TSM up, what? Well, it was about 3,000 gold, but with the gold turnover from the Kraken, it's still about, you know, 2.5. Team SoloMid, you know, very much still in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, FlashX 2-0-10 in this game on 12 of the 13 kills, and the vast majority of these kills being started by his gauntlet play. It's just something really
going for the back
to watch. They are going to get spotted though by that scout trap. So the instant recalls coming through. It might if they can find this fight immediately, but they are going to get some big damage down to this crystal. Death from above is coming down. The crystal is getting melted. It doesn't matter. This is going to be Team